In this video, we'll access and customize tools. After completing this step, you'll be able to demonstrate how to access tools on the ribbon, use the marking menu, modify tools listed on the ribbon, use design shortcuts, and modify design shortcuts. In Fusion 360, we're going to start with a new untitled document, and we want to take a look at different ways in which we can access tools and customize the tools that we have access to. The first thing that I want to mention is in the upper right-hand corner, we can go to our user preferences. The user preferences will allow us to manipulate the way in which we interact with models, change some of the default settings, but also view preview features. There are certain things in Fusion 360 that are preview functionality, meaning that it's not quite a full release in the software, but you can turn it on if you wish to explore it. For example, parametric mesh is currently available in Fusion 360. If we apply this, you'll notice that we now have a Paramesh tab on our ribbon. If we deactivate it, you can see that it goes away. This is true for several of the different workspaces, such as generative design, simulation, and manufacture. We're going to take a look at some of those as they become applicable, but for right now, we'll leave them turned off. The first thing that we want to be aware of is the main modeling area, or the big white space, is called the canvas area. This is where you're going to be creating your sketches, adding your tools to create features, and working with your assemblies. If we want to take a look at a design, we can open our data panel and open up our utility knife upload. When we do this, notice on the left-hand side that the browser is now populated. We have left, right, grip 1 and grip 2, the blade, and the blade cradle. These are all components, and these components can move around inside of this environment, and Fusion 360 keeps track of them. At the very bottom, we have a timeline, which is history-based features that were added to the design. For example, here's a sketch, here's a plane that was created, a freeform body, some split features, as well as other standardized tools such as fillet and shell. All of these were added at various points during the creation of this model. The tools that we need to create and modify these designs are found on the ribbon. We have a ribbon access for solid tools, surface tools, and sheet metal tools, as well as a tools tab which has some additional utilities. Notice under utility we can manage materials or compute all. Under add-ins we can find or play through scripts. These are going to be bits of code that allow us to increase our productivity by replicating repetitive tasks. Then you'll notice that if there is a small icon that looks like a plug, this is preview functionality. This is going to be preview functionality, or in this case, something that's inside of an extension. There's an icon up here for extensions in which you can purchase additional functionality in Fusion 360. Nesting and fabrication, for example. There are access options, and you can buy it for a day for 25 cloud credits, purchase using a credit card, or start a 7-day free trial. Let's navigate back to solids. In each section, we have tools for create, modify, assemble, and then we have construct, inspect, insert, and select. These are going to be standard across the board. For example, if we go to surface, you'll notice that we have create tools and modify tools, as well as assemble tools. In some instances, the tools will be slightly different, but in most cases, when we're dealing with solid, surface, and sheet metal, you'll see a lot of repetition between the various tabs. The tabs are one way in which we can access tools, but there are a few other ways. Notice that next to some of them there is a letter. This is a shortcut key, and this can be used on the keyboard to quickly use this tool. We can also use a right-click or marking menu. The right-click or marking menu will show some tools that are based on your selection. For example, if I select an edge and I right-click, notice that I have fillet and chamfer. If I left-click in the canvas and I right-click again, notice that I have extrude and fillet. If we use the S key on the keyboard, these are our design shortcuts. You'll notice that extrude, fillet, look at, and zoom to area are on here. These design shortcuts are listed both at the bottom of our right-click menu or where the S key is. We can quickly use the search to look for a new tool. For example, we can look for shell. If we want to add it to our design shortcuts, we can use this arrow, which will place it directly in our shortcut menu. Then you'll notice that it'll be on our right-click menu as well. Also note that we can customize the tools on our ribbon. When we hover over a tool, we can use the three dots on the right-hand side to pin it to our toolbar, pin it to our shortcuts, or even change the keyboard shortcut. These are all different ways in which we can access these tools to simplify our workflow. If you have a standardized workflow where you're always using shortcut keys or you're always using right-click menus, you can quickly and easily configure Fusion 360 to work how you expect. Another thing that we should mention in Fusion 360 is the use of workspaces. In Fusion 360, we have the design workspace, which is standard. However, we also have areas for generative design, rendering, animations, simulation, manufacture, as well as creating detailed drawings. There's another workspace that we can access from the File menu, and that's PCB design by using New Electronics Design. These different workspaces represent different functionality in Fusion 360. You'll notice in the generative design, simulation, as well as manufacture workspaces that we still have access to some creation tools and assembly tools that we might need when preparing a model for those various workflows. For right now, however, we're not going to explore the different workspaces. We're going to focus solely on the design workspace for now. If you've made any changes to your design, make sure that you do save it before moving on.